Reading with your kids.
Hey, so great to see you. Come on in. Hi, my name is Jedley, and this is the Reading with Your Kids podcast, coming to you from the beautiful neighborhood of Reedville in the southwest corner of Boston, Massachusetts. We hope that you are connected with us on social media. We're at facebook.com/readingwithyourkids. We are at Jedley Magic on Twitter, and we are Reading with Your Kids on Instagram. Today we welcome back our Dean of all things STEM and STEAM, Jennifer Swanson, talking to us about how chemistry rocks. I am so looking forward to Jennifer explaining to me how chemistry rocks, and I am so looking forward to being part of the Chicago Toy and Game Fair November 23rd and 24th on Navy Pier in Chicago. It is going to be a great time. We are creating a totally interactive booth at the Chicago Toy and Game Fair, the biggest toy and game fair in North America, where families can experience what it's like to be a guest on the Reading with Your Kids podcast. You can also win a fantastic prize basket full of books and games. That is happening on November 23rd and 24th at Navy Pier, the Chicago Toy and Games Fair. We're really excited. I am looking forward to experiencing the life-size toys and games that are going to be on display at the fair. I'm looking forward to meeting some authors. I'm looking forward to meeting some inventors. I'm looking forward to meeting you. And you can look forward to saving $3 on every ticket by going to ChitAG.com, ChitAG.com, and using the promo code RWYK, the Reading with Your Kids initials, at checkout. And when you do, you can save $3 on every ticket you purchase, and there are no limits as to how many tickets you can purchase. It's the Chicago Toy and Game Fair, November 23rd and 24th at Navy Pier in Chicago. Join us on the line right now from Jacksonville in Florida. She is our Dean of all things STEM and STEAM. Please welcome back to the show, Jennifer Swanson. Jennifer, how's it going?
It's going good, Jed. How are you?
I am wonderful. I'm really excited to have another great STEM Tuesday edition of the Reading with Your Kids podcast. And today we're going to be talking about a subject that absolutely almost got me thrown out of high school. Chemistry. Chemistry. Completely. It was, we talked about epic failures, fantastic failures. The last visit we had, chemistry for me was a fantastic failure.
Okay, so first of all, you have to say it. Chemistry rocks!
Chemistry rocks!
No, actually, I was a chemistry major at the Naval Academy, and I graduated, so yay!
Yes!
The one class that brought me down is organic chemistry, and that is the reason why I'm not a medical doctor.
Okay.
But chemistry as a whole, I think, is actually pretty cool. And so this is the June 2019, episode of STEM Tuesday that's where, if you're going to go to our website, which is, stemtuesday.com, it's now searchable. So you go in the little searchable thing off to the right and you click on chemistry and it'll take you to this whole month if you want to check it out. We have this book list is really long because there's a lot of chemistry books. Yay! I know, don't listen, Jed, but yay, chemistry. So we have another great first week list, book list, created by authors Nancy Castaldo and Patricia Newman. And let's see, there's so many great books on here. One of my favorites is Poison, Deadly Deeds, Perilous Professions, and Murderous Medicine by Sarah Albee. And I know we've had that one on previous lists, but it is so pertinent to chemistry. Mm-hmm. It's so awesome to put this in here. It says, a curious approach to this book will leave readers thinking twice about the plants in their garden and the medicines on their shelf.
I love this, and I just that title, I know that could really spark the interest in It probably would have sparked my interest when I was struggling with chemistry. That murderous medicines, and that would just kind of pique my morbid interest.
Well, yeah, and that's what we're trying to do with STEM Tuesday. And as actually a STEM author, that's what we want to do for kids. We want to make it exciting. Mm-hmm. Here's another one you might like. Edible Science Experiments You Can Eat by Jody Wheeler-Toppin.
Jody is coming on the show at some point.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes. We received a preview copy of that book. And it's here at the Reading with Your Kids podcast. We get dozens and dozens of books every week, unsolicited, just folks sending us books. And some of them are fantastic. We don't have time to cover them all. But when my wife sees a book and she just snatches it out of my hands and she says, "This is for my classroom," that's when I say, well, then I have to get this author on. And that was one of the books that my wife snatched in and just really grabbed her attention. And for me, that's a gauge that, oh, okay, this is going to be pertinent and it's going to really kind of interest lots of kids.
Yes, exactly. Now we have a little more traditional books, The Elements, which, everybody knows the periodic table. But this one is a different take on it. It's a visual exploration of every known atom in the universe. So this book is a photographic companion to all the books. It shows pictures of the elements, not just you have to memorize, this is oxygen, this is hydrogen, all this kind of stuff. Which, by the way, I used to know the entire periodic table. I don't anymore, but I used to. But this would be a cool way to learn it, is to be able to look at the pictures of it, too. Instead of just that. And then, let's see. And then, of course, there's Explore Atoms and Molecules with 25 Great Projects by Janet Slingerland. So and then there's a Solid and Liquids, also Explore Solid and Liquids. These two books by Nomad Press, they do such a great job of teaching the concepts at a really basic, easy to understand level, but they have tons of experiments. So, which is, for me, is how chemistry should be experienced. Mm-hmm. Experiments.
Yeah. And what a great, we talk about the value of reading with our kids. The same thing holds when we're doing experiments with our kids. We're showing an interest in our kids. We're helping them along. We're just modeling, some great behavior for them, and we're supporting them.
Yes, exactly. So go check those books out on the book list, because this is it's a really great thing to take a look at. And then we have, let's see, Writing and Resources by Mike Hayes. And Mike, we never know what he's going to do with his posts. So he starts out by welcoming you to the Chemistry Rocks Summer World Tour 2019. Let's rock.
Let's rock.
He says, STEM Tuesday fans, sit back, relax with your favorite chemically enhanced or brewed beverage, and enjoy the show. And then he goes forward and tells you all about how chemistry is fun, how to celebrate with the periodic table, how chemistry has made a better life for us all. And, this is the part that I love to tell kids when I go to the school visits, and I say, science is everywhere. So you probably don't think about this, but chemistry is everywhere. It's in the paint on your walls of your bedroom. It's in the chemistry helped create the cement that might be on your sidewalk or in your patio. The flowers and the vegetables in the pot in the garden are fertilized with a type of chemical. Mm-hmm. Okay. And he says he just ate a bowl of rice cereal made from a chemistry-based recipe. Okay. Even toasting your bread by electrical heating elements is chemistry.
Wow. And you're right. I never imagined that toasting your bread is chemistry.
Yes. So, I'm thinking about this. So maybe if when you were a kid and you had a hard time with this, did your teachers tell you that chemistry is kind of all around you and give you that feeling, or were you just more of, oh my gosh, I have to memorize all this stuff?
It was, oh my gosh, I have to memorize all this stuff, and absolutely no, chemistry is all around you. It was more like, if you don't get this, you're leaving the school.
Oh, well, that's not fun.
No, it wasn't at all. But I survived, so that was okay.
Well, that is good. But yeah, so this month is really cool. And I think one of the things kids should understand about chemistry, again, is that it's not scary. I mean, if you cook and you make things in your kitchen, you're doing chemistry. And a lot of kids don't think about that. But, doing an experiment in your classroom, pouring two things together and maybe heating it up and stirring it and whatever how is that any different from, we were talking about the last one, making Jell-O. Mm-hmm. It's the same kind of thing. You take a box, you dump it in, you add hot water and you stir it together, and then you put it in the refrigerator so that it hardens, and all of a sudden you have Jell-O which you can eat. But you also did a chemical experiment.
Well, I'll be honest with you. If that was, because I love to cook, and I've always loved to cook, and if chemistry had been presented to me in that way, it wouldn't have been as intimidating to me.
Yeah.
It would have made a huge difference. I might not have worked any harder in the class, I'll be honest with you. That wasn't a great year for me. But it would have, it's always been something that's been intimidating to me.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, chemistry itself, when you're studying it, is hard. I mean, I will admit it was not easy to take 4 years of it in college. Mm-hmm. And, typically when you think of people that take chemistry as their major, you think of people that become doctors or actual chemists working in a lab. But there are so many different things you can do with a degree in chemistry. Like my son is a material science engineer, but which means he looks at materials and how they fit together and how they work and so forth. But he's looking at the chemical side of it, like how they interact on a very, small level. Mm-hmm. But you could also be a material science engineer and look at it more from the engineering part. There's so many different things you can do with, chemistry, because it's like everything all around you. Yeah. It's just an intimidating word. So maybe we need to come up with a word that doesn't scare people.
Yeah, that could help. That could help. But you're right. Chemistry is all around us. And I think as parents, if we can just a simple thing that you mentioned, when you're putting a little salt into that tomato sauce on top of the stove and you're letting your kid add some ingredients, helping them understand that, hey, we're doing chemistry right now. We're putting these two things together, and we're seeing, it's two separate things, putting them together, that's creating something totally different.
And yes, and if you look at Mike's post at the end, he always has him and Heather have come up with the out of left field files. So they kind of do crazy things with this. But this month is all about things that you can do with chemistry. So he has a link to what chemistry is and what chemists do. So if your child wants to know, well, what does a chemist do? There's a link you can go to. There's exploring the chemistry of rocks and minerals.
Really?
Yeah. Now, when you think of rocks and minerals, you don't necessarily think of the chemistry of them.
Not at all.
No. And then they have, let's see, the electronic structure and periodic table from the MCAT review, which I probably could have used to pass my MCATs so that I could be a doctor. But, hey. They didn't have the internet back then, so.
Well, we're lucky.
I was on encyclopedias and research.
We're lucky that we didn't have, because if you were out doctoring right now, you wouldn't have time to create all these great STEM books.
Well, that's true. That's true. And that's, another thing that we've talked about on different programs. You just because you quote unquote fail, as in I didn't do well in the MCAT, that doesn't mean you can't still take your love of science that I've had since I was 7 and do something else with it. Mm-hmm. You just have to think outside the box sometimes. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I'm very honored to do what I do. It's a lot of fun. And I get to go to all these amazing research places and see all this really cool stuff in action. And then I get to write cool books about it. So.
Yeah. And you're inspiring kids to explore their interests in STEM, and that must be incredibly gratifying for you.
It is. I mean, that's the part that I think is so amazing about what I'm able to do is that, if I can have one kid, just one, say that they think that they want to be a scientist or that they're really excited about one of the books I wrote or that they read one of my books and then do further research on their own to find out more about this. That to me is so exciting. And I don't know. It just makes me so happy to hear that kids are doing that because science is so amazing, I think, and it's everywhere.
Yeah, all around us. And just as you were mentioning that, I'm thinking that everybody who's out there listening has something that they're passionate about, something that they absolutely love. And imagine if you're able just to share that, like Jennifer said, with just one kid. And that your passion sparks something inside that kid that gives them a reason to live and to explore all the possibilities in their life. What a fantastic gift to that kid and to yourself.
Yes. If you can do that, and I think that's how all of us STEM authors feel, is that we are sharing our love and passion with, the world and hoping that everybody thinks it's as cool as we do.
And that's so cool that you mentioned that. And I love the fact that we're friends with Heather Montgomery and she is passionate about gross stuff like roadkill.
Yeah. Yes, she absolutely is. She wrote the book Something Rotten. So that's about roadkill. I don't know that you can get more intriguing and exciting than roadkill. Mm-hmm. I mean, the science of roadkill.
And there's even chemistry in roadkill, right?
There is chemistry in roadkill. See? You like chemistry. Now I'm getting you to think about it.
It's just the way you look at something, and just changing your perspective of something can give you a whole new view of it.
Yes, exactly. Well, and then the last week for this month, we have, like we always do, we do an author interview and a book giveaway. Now, this book was given away back in June, but remember, whatever month you're in, go to the 4th week of that month, and all you have to do is leave a comment at the bottom of that blog post, which is usually an author interview, and you could be entered to win a book. So in June, the chemistry book was Edible Inventions. Cooking hacks and yummy recipes you can build, mix, bake, and grow by Kathy Ciceri. And she made all of these really cool, edible type inventions that you get to make them and then eat them. I don't know how that gets any more cooler than that.
And just think of all the conversations that you can have with your kids around that. Reading the book, going out, shopping, getting the ingredients, coming back, creating it, sitting down, eating it. Talk about a feast of conversation that you can have with your kids.
Right. And she made here a cardboard box solar oven that she baked a chocolate cake in. I know, right? It makes me go, really? Was it really fully cooked? But, it's in the book, and so she said, yeah, it works.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that might take a while to bake, and you might have to be in a really sunny area.
I'm thinking, yeah. But
why not give it a shot?
We wouldn't have been able to use that down in San Jose, Costa Rica while we were there on our vacation. It was raining the whole time. I don't...
Oh, well, yeah.
That would have been
so then you'd have to develop some kind of rain-powered thing,
there you know? There you go. Now, you're mentioning contest and the fact whether you're listening to this when we're publishing it in November of 2019 or you're listening to this in March of 2021, you can go to the STEMTuesday.com page, go to the 4th week of the current month, whatever month is up there, and leave a comment and be eligible to win that month's book. And such a cool thing.
Yes, and I want to, since this will be published right before the end of our costume contest, I want to tell everybody about that real fast.
Yes.
So we will have been doing this since the end of August, but you still have until November 8th, 2019 at midnight, Eastern Standard Time to get your, pictures to us. So what this is, it's called a costume contest, which is like, STEM Tuesday, but it's really a costume contest. So go out, find your favorite STEM book and dress up like it. And you're like, what? These are mostly nonfiction books. Okay. So if you go to our website and you need an idea, there was a girl who dressed up like a black hole for the book Black Hole Is Not a Hole by Carolyn DeCristofano. And it is the coolest looking costume you've ever seen. So you just have to pick a book, doesn't matter what book it is, just preferably a STEM book, and then you just dress up like it. We had kids last year dressed up like a rainstorm. Like they had almost like an umbrella sticking out of their head with like raindrops and lightning bolts and all this kind of thing off of it. So to enter the contest, you go to our page, STEMtuesday.com, and then you're going to, off to the side, you're going to choose Cost-STEM contest, and I'll have all the details. Make sure you send us the picture of your child in the costume and the title of the book that they are supposed to look like. And we are doing giveaway. The first place gets a $25 gift card to Barnes & Noble and 5 autographed books. Second place gets a $15 gift card to Barnes & Noble and 3 autographed books. And the third place gets a $10 gift card to Barnes & Noble and 2 autographed books.
Now, you're mentioning the autographed books. I've read a study that says that having as few as 20 books in your home family library greatly increases your child's probability of going to university. So to win 5 autographed copies, 5 autographed books, you're like a quarter of the way there.
Well, yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't heard that one before, but it doesn't surprise me at all because clearly the more kids are exposed to reading and they learn to love it and, be curious about the world. And hopefully read more books too.
Yeah.
I mean, there's tons of books out there that you could dress yourself up like a molecule, cause we have a bunch of, from the book list earlier that we just talked about, Atoms and Molecules, the book by Janet Slingerland. You could think about making yourself the nucleus and then, having all the parts of the protons or the electrons floating around you're the center of the protons and neutrons in the nucleus. I mean, cool things. Ooh, edible science. That would be cool.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yes.
You make yourself an edible pancake. I mean, you could go crazy with this. You could make yourself slime. I mean, wow. That would be fun.
You can make yourself a cardboard solar oven.
You could carry the cake around you.
Well, we want everybody to check out the STEMtuesday.com and also check out Jennifer's website. Tell us where we can find out about the crash test dummies and all the other amazing books that you've created.
So that would be www.jenniferswansonbooks.com.
We've been talking about this month's edition of STEM Tuesday, Chemistry Rocks, with our Dean of all things STEM and STEAM, Jennifer Swanson. Jennifer, thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me, as always, Jed.
Please be sure to join us for the next edition of the Reading with Your Kids podcast. Our guest will be Haley Nystrom. She'll be telling us about her beautiful children's book, The Fairies of Frost. Hey, if you are the author of a great children's book, we would love to have you as a guest on the Reading with Your Kids podcast. Being a guest is fun, it's easy, and it gives you the chance to tell thousands of people about your fantastic children's book. All you need to do is to go to our website, readingwithyourkids.com, click on the contact button at the bottom of the page. Let us know about your great book. We'll let you know the next easy steps. We want to thank the folks who made today's show so very, very wonderful. Of course, that means we want to thank Jennifer Swanson, our Dean of all things STEM and STEAM, for making another fantastic STEM Tuesday episode of the show. I want to thank my amazing producer, Fatima Khan. Please be sure to check out her blog at readingwithyourkids.com. I want to thank my beautiful wife for all of the support that she gives me. You should definitely check out our Facebook page and find out how we were dressed for Halloween. I also want to thank Augie the Doggy for having me and having my back here in the studio. And of course, we want to thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. And as always, thank you so much for taking the time to make the world a better place by reading with your kids. I'll be looking for you in the next edition of the Reading with Your Kids podcast.